Hi, I'm Kate O'Donnell with The Productive Teacher, and I'm here today to share with you my physical and chemical properties digital resource. This is a digital resource that you can get in Google Slides. You can also print out the pages if you want to do that, but you'll lose some of the functionality. All right, so the first couple pages just share information about my store. The third page explains how to share only specific pages with your students because I do include an answer key, and you may not want your students to have that. Here, this page is going to take you to, has a link to videos that I really like from YouTube that help teach this concept as well. Now here I start with a preview page. I like to start everything with a preview page because brain science tells us that our brains learn better when they are primed. So previewing is a great way to get students ready to learn. So it explains that this resource is going to be about physical and chemical properties. And then it asks students to define some vocabulary words and answer some questions. Now, they might not know the answers to this, and that's totally okay. Just trying is going to get their brains ready to learn. Now, I have an introduction where I give some information. And then here I have listed different physical properties and chemical properties. And if you click on each one of these, it will take you to a page that teaches them about size. Size was a bad example. Let's go back. Let's say, how about malleability? So if you have a student who is looking at the physical properties and says, I have no idea what malleability is, they can click on it and it will take them to a page that explains it. So then down below here, now that they're comfortable with what all of the physical and chemical properties are, I have a review activity. Now, reviewing throughout the lesson is also very important for making strong connections in the brain because our brains need time to organize the new information that it's getting. So I like to give a little information, then have a review activity. Give a little more information, have another review activity. So here students are giving examples of different physical and chemical properties. They might need to go back and reread some of those slides in order to complete this review activity, and that's totally fine. Now I have another review activity. Sorting is a really good activity for learning because it's so low stress. All of the information is here. Students are just organizing it. So in this case, they are sorting the physical and chemical properties of hydrogen gas. So you can see over here on the side, several of the properties are listed and they're gonna say, is it a physical property or a chemical property? And as I said, I do include answer keys. So if you're not sure or your students aren't sure, they can check there. Here I have another review page. This one is a reflection, and this one is really for deepening the thinking. So the question that I ask here is, why is it important to know about the physical and chemical properties of matter? And this is something that we always want to come back to with our students because our brains are trained to look for important information. And if our brain doesn't think something is important, it is not going to pay attention to it. So we just really want to reinforce why students should care about this information. Okay, here I have some more information for students about physical and chemical changes, more information about physical and chemical changes, and one last slide that shares information. Now I'm going to ask them to review again. So here they're sorting different actions to show if they are physical or chemical changes. And I actually have two of these because I had so many things I wanted to include, and it's hard to fit a lot on the page and still have it be easy to read. So I included 2 pages of it. Here I have another reflection page. This time students are building a map of what they learned. If you are in person, you can give students paper to do this on and they can just draw. If it's digital, they can use the text boxes provided just like this and write in the information that they want to remember. So chemical properties might be one that they would have, and then they could add examples of it here. So a chemical property was flammability, flammability. And they can change the size of this, and then they can also connect boxes with the lines and the arrows. So really, I just tried to give students a few tools that they could use to get their thinking down on paper. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead Delete this. Okay, and then here I have questions for review. Now, notice at the top, and I forgot to say this, I do this on the preview page too. I explain why students are doing this activity. So here it explains that we forget what we learn most of the day. And so what they should do is wait 24 hours after they learn this material, come back, and then try to answer the questions. The act of forgetting a little bit will help them remember it better in the long run. And then here I have the rapid practice. So the best way to learn something is to practice with it just a few minutes a day for a bunch of days. So I have the check marks here so they can show which days that they practiced. And then on the other side are digital flashcards. It makes learning so easy. So this first question says, name 3 physical properties of the ice cubes. And then there's a lot more than 3, but students can name 3 of them. They're checking their work right away. It's super easy. Here's my next question. What is everything around you made of? Hopefully you knew it was matter. And the questions continue. There's actually quite a few of them. So I'm going to scroll down here to get on the other side of the questions. And here on this page, I have a link to a self-grading quiz. You're going to want to download this quiz or click the link, make a copy of the quiz, and then share that copy with your students so that you can see their responses. But because it's self-grading, students will also be able to see their responses right away. And it's just another opportunity for them to really get those strong neural connections about physical and chemical changes. And then after that, I have answer keys or suggested answer keys for all of the pages so that if you have a substitute in, or if you have a kid who needs to work independently for some reason, you can just give this to them and they can easily check their work. Oh, and then at the last pages are the pages that are the links to the physical properties and chemical properties. So you will want to make sure that your students get these if you're not sharing every page with them. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next time.